What's up? I'm going to tell you a little story about why you do not self-manage properties. And it's a little story from COVID.
China has identified the cause of the
mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
This is a rapidly emerging situation where there is not a cause for alarm.
The first US case has been detected.
There's confirmation the coronavirus has reached Australia.
China is urging its citizens not to travel abroad as it struggles to contain the virus.
We will be standing up Christmas Island as a quarantine area.
Foreign nationals coming from China are now banned from entering the country.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
Trying to contain a city of 11 million people is new to science. It has not been tried before as a public health measure.
The death toll now has risen above that of the SARS outbreak 17 years ago.
We now have a name for the disease, COVID-19.
I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody.
So I remember when COVID first blasted off, they shut down the NBA. I was like, oh my God, I'm managing 400 houses. How is anybody going to pay their rent? And I have 80 rentals. How am I going to get any rent? And it was a deep, dark time. And I started freaking out. Luckily, my team was managing the properties. And so eventually, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think our rent rolls was like a 50% rent collection for the first 90 days of COVID. So like, we were sweating. We were nervous. Eventually, all the CARES Act money started coming down. All the EPP money started coming down. I don't know if you guys really remember this, but here's what I noticed in the real estate market. Those who had houses professionally managed got money from the CARES Act. My team collected over $1 million in a 12-month period. My team was actually giving applications to the tenants so they could apply for CARES Act money. We had a team member who all their job was to do was to get tenants to do the paperwork for the CARES Act money. Now, who was not getting that money? It was mom and pop landlords who didn't have the time to, one, give a team member to pay the CARES Act, to do all the paperwork for the CARES Act, because it was great the government paid it, but it was a ton of paperwork. And so those people were like, I'm going to save a few extra pennies not having somebody else manage my properties. They got destroyed. Eventually, they ended up selling generally to a home buyer like myself. But this is just like a tale from the crypt of why you do not manage your own properties. And at the end of the day, if you're making enough money to invest in real estate, your time is too valuable to be investing in properties. And so that's why I built a thing called a property management company. So the people we work with, we manage their properties for them after we sell them the property. But let me just go real quick who you're going to need on your team. And then I do not recommend you do this on your own. Always use a team. But first, you're going to need a property manager if you're going to be a successful real estate investor. You're also going to need a leasing manager, somebody who can tell when a tenant, a potential resident, is not necessarily telling the truth, someone to scan all the applications. You cannot do this if you're a busy professional. Next is who's going to coordinate the maintenance calls. I'm not just saying you got to have handymen on your team. There's also somebody coordinating that, billing it, doing all that. Then when the tenant moves out, you're going to need a general contractor to do the rehab. Here's essentially all the seats on the bench. If you're going to be a successful real estate investor, once again, do not do this on your own. You need somebody to fund the investment, negotiate terms to acquire the property. Right now, I have 15 people on my team who do that in 3 different markets. Fund the acquisition, complete the rehab, and make the house rent ready. Secure and qualify the tenant, collect the rent, respond to and take care of maintenance repairs, deal with late rents and evictions. And that's only for one house. You don't get wealthy until you rinse and repeat. But I cannot recommend strongly enough, if you want to get wealthy in real estate, do not self-manage. And I hope you enjoyed my little story from going down memory lane with COVID.